Two, one, action.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome back to KISE live stream. Yes, we know it's been a minute. We've not uploaded anything to you guys, but yeah, we have to thank you for always coming back to our YouTube or Facebook page to check us out. So karibuni sana, but before we even continue, I want you to remind you that we have the September intake that is will be ongoing, that is in September. So if you want to enroll with us, or you have a question or anything that you want to inquire, please visit all socials at Kenya Institute of Software Engineering and Professional Studies. And I hope that you are keeping safe and peace all over the country because of you know what happened after the elections. I know things are not settled, but we are pushing peace, you know. So today we are continuing with we have one of our lecturers with us, who is Mr. Gideon. And I remember the other time we created a login form. So today we are going to link that login form to a database. So this is a part 2 of that. So if you haven't watched the part 1 of that, you can check it out. That is with Mr. Gideon in our playlist. That is, just search and you'll find it. So before we continue, I'm Elizabeth Mutinda, and for location purposes, we are located in Thika Town, opposite Thika Stadium, next to EcoBank, New Jogo House. That is on 3rd and 4th floor of the New Jogo House. So karibuni sana, and yeah. Mr. Gideon will be joining us in a few, and he'll be taking you through on how to log in a data login form to a database. So please don't go away. We will appreciate tukikuwa nanyi how to be end.
So there is this login form that we created, and apparently it was running. So as you remember, we had 2 parts. We had the side of the activity and the side of the layout. So we have two main files. I have this file. I have this first file, and have this second one. So to be able to do a login form, you have to do a registration first. For even when you creating account, you first have to register. So so for registration form is not kind of different from the login form, the fields are almost the same. So like from here you can see, if I give an example, you can see have username and password. So for the record, let me just I'll use this one to do a kind of registration. First of all, let me use this one for registration. It will almost be the same for the login. So for the part of, we'll just add one thing. One thing that normally is there is confirm password. So I'll just put a confirm password here. So here, just below this, just confirm password. So get back. See, yeah. So I'll just name it confirm password. So come here. Can name it like EDC confirm capital C confirm password. So I will just name it C password for them. For the hint. Hint is what you the text that you see when you are when now you are inside edit text, and that text exits when you just click on it. So I just name here C password. I'll just say confirm password. Confirm password. So after this, now we have our good form here. Let's just confirm from the graphical layout. Yeah, enter password and confirm password. If the password match, then that's it. So I'll just go back. So this one is the layout. Actually, this one, anybody, even if you don't have coding knowledge, this at least everybody can do this drag dropping. This is what we call a layout, because we have a front-end developer who is the one who does this layout, creating a layout. Then you have a backend is the one who deals with the database. So for me, I'm doing both of them. So we come back here. I need to reference the field we have created of confirm password. So I'll just come here, just put comma conf ed confirm password. Ed confirm password. So I'll reference it just as we did last time. I'll just for making it more fast, let me just copy. I'll just say ed C password. So is equals to ed dot confirm password. So that's it. So then we start from there. As you can see, this is known as referencing. So referencing views. Views, those are the items you have, those items or components you have been adding here. These components, a button and so on, they are known as views. So we reference them like this. And then we come to where we have the listener. This is what happens when the button is clicked. It's known as listener. Set on click listener. So we did that. What we did last time is we checked if admin is equals to admin, then login successful, else the login failed. So but for this time, the login will be happening whenever will be happening because of the data we get in the database. But as we said, we can first of all register and we'll still use this one. But I can rename it to, I can rename this button to, we can restructure it, we change it to login. So I just come back here, I change it to btn register. Register. So here I change to register. So getting back here, I'll just change this to I'll just this to btn btn register. So that's it. So then from here, the first thing we'll do is, when you're logging in, you'll just check that all fields are not empty. All fields should not be empty. So that's the first thing. Number two, you should make sure that when you enter something, the password should match. So if after the password match, that's when you try to insert the data of the username and password. So that is in to the database. So we can start by checking if username is equals to empty. This is what we'll do. If username dot equals empty, so in this case we'll use or password is equals to empty, or confirms password. So here we needed to have a confirm password. C password ed C password dot get text. So we check if it's also is equals to empty. So you just say if C password dot equals to empty. So just here you just say fields are required, but most of the time say one or more fields are required. Fields are required. So that's it. So we just by that else, when we say else, it means that now if there is something in the field. So this one I'm checking that to ensure that the fields have something. Of course you can't register with nothing. You have to have a data. So when you have data, the next thing you should check is if the password are matching. So you just say if this one matches to this one. So you just say if. So this is a nested if statement. So else. So for else is what will happen here. So in the else it will say, what it will say, it will just say password do not match. Passwords don't match. Yeah, so if if password dot equals C password. So you're just saying the confirmed password should be is equals. If it is equals, that's when now we continue to the database. So that's when we continue to a database. Else password do not match. Password do not match. From here, that's when now we send our data to the database. So here it's database operations. So that's a comment. So I will create a class with a database, a class that will hold my database. I can call it name like my DB. Let me name it my DB. Name and give it my database. So yeah, my DB is okay. So then I finish. So in this case, I will do something which is known as inheriting. I will inherit a class. I will inherit a class that has my database. Apparently, for SQLite database is normally in the one of the classes in Android. So you don't need to do a connection. So SQLite open. So the open helper class. So import this. So then I override their methods. Their methods inside a particular class. So what we have here. So when we inherit, when we inherit, there are methods that we need to inherit from a certain class. So that there are methods that are available. We implement all of them. So it's just like the way you are right. You can have a child from a parent. He inherits most of the features from the parent. So that this class is inheriting most of the features from its parent. which is the SQLite open helper. So those are known as overrides. As you can see, it's an override here. So from here, we have, you can see this is a constructor, then we have onCreate here. So from here, we'll just be calling this class, we'll put a database name, and that we continue from there. So here we'll just create, what we'll create a table. So here we just create what we call a table. This one I'll name it as DB. So here I'll just create DB dot execute SQL. So I write an SQL statement here for creating a table. Create table. I can give it any name like register for users. User table, or just give it a name, a prefix like TB user. Then I give it the fields. Fields are table inakuwa na fields. So create table user, you give it you can give it an ID, so it's like a primary key. So ID integer primary key. Then auto increment, so it increment by automatically by 1, 2, 3 like that. Then I can have username, can be a variable character. You give it the variable character, the character's maximum character. That's what we mean by varchar, that you can put that field. Then password, the password that we wrote there, it will also be a variable character. I give it like 50 or so, or any number depending on how long your password wants to be. So after that is a table I've created. Then on upgrade, the version changes, I will say drop table if exists. Table user, if the version changes, it will drop the table. The table. Just make this one to be small. So db dot execute SQL, the same. You just say drop. So drop table tb drop table tb user dot table if exists. So table if exists tb user, table user. So finally that we have created our table now. The only thing now remaining is inserting the data for the data we have been using, we have been creating. So I will just now go back to our main activity here, and I call that, I create a class for that database. So my database, I call that class. So I can call it here. The exact name, my DB. Give it a reference variable like my DB, like that. So then, as we always did, so this one is known as creating an object. Creating an object is creating an instance of a class like this, calling it like that. So then it has parameters, so that's why it's bringing an error. You will have to go and look at this parameter. What does it have? Context. So the context is the name of the class you are in. Like this one is main activity. So I'll just go, okay, we had written the context here, so I'll use this one. It's still the same thing, even if you write the name of the class. Just write, comma, separate them. Then string name, this is the name of the database. I give it a name, can give it a name, like my DB. The next thing is we have word cursor factory. This one I'll give it as null. Then version I'll just give it as well, and we are done for the database. So I will just create a method here for inserting our data. The method inside here. So I'll create a method like this. So we just come back here. If the password are equal, now we insert. So you can say so the return of an insert is like an integer or a long, ni kama number, because it's inside one row, it's a number. So I can say long insert is equals to, I'll say my db dot insert. I create a method. So what should it insert? It should insert the username and password. So you should insert. So here I'll just create a method in that class here, database. Create a method this. So we'll insert username and password. So I come here. So we have username and password as the parameters. So I'll just come here and now do the inserting. So I'll just insert the database like this. We call the SQLite database. So our database, we call it. So db is equals to this dot get a. This is a writable because we are editing it. Tunaandika kitu. We are doing a data manipulation. So it's a DML. So we do, if we are just reading, we'll just say readable database. So then we put our values in content values. We store them temporarily in something we call content values, a class known as content values. Content values. So I import the content values. So then I put the values, these values, I add this value, I put these parameters in a key value pair system. So I just say cv.put. So we have a key and a value. So for this case, the key is the column name of this, the column name of the database, inaitwa key. Then the value is these parameters. So we just, so I have two columns. So I just copy the two columns here. So I'll have the first one as username or username. The value is username. The other one is password. So then I put the password here. So and then finally I just insert. I just say db.insert. So we insert the values that we have here. So I'll just call, what is the table name? Just give the table name. This is TB user. So so then here just put a null, then I give the values. I display the values that I'm inserting. It's CV, those values in the content values. So finally I just check if it's okay. So I just say, I give this a variable, like I can give it like long like insert also, to give it a variable for long insert is equals to that. So then the return will be insert. So the value will be insert. So it will return a value 1. If you may insert column moja, it will return 1. So I'm expecting to return a 1. So on the other side, if it's successful, it will be returning a 1 will be successful, returning a 0 will be unsuccessful. So we get back to our main activity. So let's check. If insert is successful, also we just say if. So another if else. So I'll just say if insert is greater than 0, it will just say insert successful. Else the insert is failed. Insert failed. So those are what we expect in any case. So if it's successful, then we'll have data in the database, then you can be able to log in. So logging, I think, is shorter than this. So so then we can test to see if it's successful inserting. So we'll just use what we call an emulator. An emulator is just a sample of a phone that we have in our IDE that so minute logging its connection. So run as Android application. So let's give it some time to load. You can see the sample. The insert if it's successful. So in the meantime, we'll also need a login form. So I'll create it very fast. I'll just copy the previous form and edit it very first. So the layout is almost the same. So I'll just create a new activity here. New other activity, Android activity. I just call it login inform. So for this, the only thing I will require is the code for this code. I'll just remove one field for the edit text. I mean for the confirm password, I just need two fields. I just remove this confirm password. This is what I don't want. Then this button will name it as login. The other ones, I think they are just the same. The others are just one and the same thing. So I'll just go to the strings.xml and create that field for them. So this is just to prevent hard coding, kuchanganya code. So the separating of code instead of hard coding. So that's it for the login form. I don't think there's anything else. Password and username. Just start logging and you're able to log in. So let's view this. So the emulator is started. So we have enter username. I can name like James. I give him a password like 123. So let's try to do a wrong password, 0 whatever. So password do not match. So I just put the correct password, 123. So unfortunately, that means we have a bug in our code here. So we'll just come to our code here. So let me restart again. So I run. So here is where we expect the error to be coming from. No such. So I just create James 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So So I'll just come here. There might be any errors, but now you just see them here. Error opening so search file near this. So okay, to increment variable character. So the error in the SQL statement. I'll just go to my SQL statement there. This DB here. I'll just create table. And yes, I think we had there because of create table. There is this bracket. So this is the final bracket, but we have another bracket before that here. So I think that's why you have the error, because this bracket is supposed to be the one closing this one. Yeah, and this one is to increment, this one. Okay, I hope that's where we have the error. So we'll just refresh it, rerun it. So the APK is this one, is the one that is you can install is this one. You can see login presentation.apk. That is the app. So error opening, error code. And near the bracket. So let me create table TB user ID integer primary key to increment. Let me first of all remove this one. Okay, just remaining these two. Username variable character 50, password variable character 50. Okay, so let me just test with these two. Let me see. James 1, 2, 3. So the insert is successful. So for now, let's work with those two. Insert is successful. So I'll just do very fast the login. For the login, in this case, we have said we use the same values. So in this case, for my login form here, I will just come here and reference the same values. Actually, they are almost the same, so I'll just reuse them. I had a username and password like this. So I have those fields. Then I get the reference, their declaration here. I add them. So I just remove this, confirm. That's the only thing we don't have. So then we just create the same idea of the button, but this time it's register. So, but also you can use a different idea. You can have an on-click method here. We can have an on-click method here. I just come here and say on-click. Android on-click. I just give it a method like login. That is the method that we'll call when the button is clicked, on click. Upon click, what should the button do? It should call that method. So I'll just come here and create the method in a1 public void the name. It was login. Then I pass this is a parameter which is the button. The parameter is the button. which is also known as a view. So you can get other properties from this parameter, so which is, we have said it's a button. So from here, I'll just also reuse the part of the code, which is this one. Username and password, they were already there. We have not changed the names, so I'll just use what we had used here. And I want to get the text from the username and the password. I want to get them. So in this case, I will now insert. I will now do what. Actually, there we wrote. So the other one is, this one is login. So when we log in, you also add. It will also be a DML. I mean, this one is reading. It's reading. Sorry, it's reading data from that the database, not writing. The other time we said writing. So the only thing you just check here is if the fields are empty. So I'll just, like we did the other last time, so it's important you review. What we did is we checked if the fields are empty, which is what I'll still do. They are empty. I will just make sure that that this says the fields are required. Of course, you don't want to put empty values in your database, so then the context is also required. We'll also reuse the context. So context. So that is it. So we just don't have this confirm password. So the only thing now I'll do is create a method. So I'll just create a method to be able to select from the database. So I'll just say boolean login is equals to, I'll call my database the way we called it, just the name of the way we did the first one. My DB is equals to, it's the same database. So I'll we just give we just create a method in our database class. So and then we pass the parameters exactly the same way we did username and password. So I just create the method there. So we just create the method here. So what we'll do is, now we are selecting this time. So this is what we'll do. We'll just declare the same way we did the SQLite database, but this time is different because we are saying a readable database, not a writable. We are calling a readable database. So here we'll just I'll just come here and use a raw SQL. I can use raw query. So use a raw query. Select, just say select all from the table name. Table, I think we named it TB user. Like that. TB user, where username is equals to question mark and password is equals to question mark. So those question mark, we'll fill them here from here. Taziwekea hapa. So those question mark, we fill them here in the same order. So I'll use something like, I'll use an array to fill them. So I just say new string. So the username, just give those values. Username, comma, password. So I've just used the raw query for those these values. So So then here I'll just give a boolean value. So you can just give it boolean boolean select. So it's either selecting or you can give any value. So sorry, this one is supposed to be a KISE class. KISE. So import the KISE class. So finally here, so I'll just check if the insert is successful. So I'll just say, I will say if KISE so there are method here. If KISE is so KISE, I want just to check if the insert is successful. So let's just leave it as return true. If it's successful, just return true. As simple as that, instead of complicating. So if this thing works, if this whole idea works, it will return a true. If it doesn't, then it will return a false. So it's either true or false. So I'll just get back here and check if it's a true or a false. So I just say if login, so it can just is equals to true. So that's a successful login. Else is a failed login. So I just say here. So if login is equals to true, it's successful, this one is failed. And this one login failed. So what I'll do is, it's okay to test it, I'll just do this. We'll just go to this main activity. I just put like a button here in the main activity, which will be redirecting me. It will be redirecting me to that that login form. It will be taking me there. That's how we load that form. So we just say btn login. So the btn login will be redirecting me. We'll do something called an intent to load to another form. So just go to graphical layout. Okay, we have this one, which is the name is login. So yeah, so this will be redirecting me to the login. So what we'll do is we do the same as we did. We reference this login button. Btn login. So we reference it. Then after we reference it, we create an activity to lead. We create an intent to open that form. So btn login. Okay, well, this one was okay. Let me change the name. The name is to something else. Btn login direct btn go to login. Yeah, I think that's fine. So this is the name. So we get back to here and we reference that button. We'll just reuse. Just name it go to login btn go to login btn go login. So I just add it to one of items here, one of the items here. So I'll just add I'll just use an inner class btn go to login. That's set on click listener. So that's it. And now I create an intent to go to that class. intent. Or I simplify by just writing start activity. So context, if I just put the context here, context, comma, then the activity I want to go to, which is login form dot class. So just say here new intent. So then I just import it. So that's it. Let's just now try it.